to the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hello and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. I feel like I've been off from filming YouTube videos for over a week, but it's only been a few days. But I have to say there was a lot of royal tea circulating. So today we're just going to do a brief royal recap of some of these stories that have come out and about. And stay tuned, guys. I do have some really fun things to share with you in the Andie Tea family extras. But now sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So the very first story that I saw circulating online was that Harry won his lawsuit against the Mail on Sunday. So they're saying that Prince Harry wins the first stage in the libel lawsuit against the Mail on Sunday. Yes, he won the very first stage, meaning they have enough to where the judge felt that part of the article was kind of clickbaity and misleading in the title. Therefore, he found parts of the article defamatory, where they can move forward to the next step, which would be a trial. So if you're not aware about this lawsuit, because I know the Sussexes have so many lawsuits going on currently, 3. Yes, 3. This is the lawsuit that's in regards to an article that the Mail on Sunday published in February, alleging that Harry was trying to keep his lawsuit against the Home Office, where he is suing them for his right to hire the Metropolitan Police, secret, and that he did not offer to pay for the police protection until after the story broke, and that they had their team of people put out a fake press piece to make them look good, because you know the Sussexes would never do that. Well, according to a judge that saw the initial part of this lawsuit, he did agree that part of the article did suggest that it was defamatory, therefore it could go to the next step in the lawsuit. But again, he did not win the lawsuit, he just won the very first phase. So the judge said, quote, "This is very much the first phase in a libel claim. The next step will be for the defendant to file a defense to the claim. It will be a matter of determination later in the proceedings whether the claim succeeds or fails, and if so, on what basis." So again, many of the SS squad were running, saying, oh, Harry won, Harry won. No, he didn't really win anything. Again, it's the initial phase of a libel lawsuit that is now moving forward to the second phase. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out in the courts. So as we've mentioned, the Sue Happy Sussexes are on a roll. Not only are they having a lawsuit with Samantha Markle, but now the libel case with the Associated Newspapers with the Mail on Sunday are moving forward. Then we have the initial lawsuit of the Home Office with Harry suing for the Metropolitan Police protection, even though he doesn't live in the UK. Now, many of you wonderful people have brought it to my attention that he is trying to get the IPP, Internationally Protected Person, and I 100% agree with you, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense why he would have this ongoing battle to have police protection every time him and his family visit the UK, considering the fact they've been there 3 times in over 2 years. But again, another story has come out that Harry is planning to spend part of the year in the UK, part in America. They're still keeping Frogmore Cottage. Again, we've mentioned this before in our previous video. So there is a lot of moving things happening behind the scenes. And yes, I 100% agree with you. They are looking for the IPP status, which means that any country that they would fly into, that country would have to pay for security and provide the highest level of security for them, which I hope they get denied, because that is 100% ridiculous. He is not a working royal. He is not a diplomat. He's not a politician. He is literally a Hollywood husband, a Hollywood prince. They're pathetic. But again, they're trying their hardest to get the IPP status. Now it has come out that the Duke of Sussex, Harry himself, is going to be delivering a speech in front of the United Nations General Assembly on Monday, the 18th of July. Now, the Prince will be making the speech at New York for this year's Nelson Mandela Day. Now, they're saying that his speech could very well talk about climate change or world hunger. Tagline for the Nelson Mandela Day is, quote, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." This will be Harry and Meghan's very first public appearance since the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations, where he and his wife were booed and also kept a quote-unquote low profile. So it's going to be very interesting to hear what woke salad speech and lecture that the Sussexes are going to deliver for this day. Again, I don't know why people keep placating them and making them feel like there's something important. So it'll be interesting to see what happens during this speech. So there's a lot of mystery and conspiracy surrounding the release of Prince Harry's memoir. Now, as we previously stated, his book was slated to be released sometime this year. Many people were speculating that his book would be released in early autumn after the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Well, Penguin Random House just put out their list of promotional marketing list of books that are upcoming this year, and Harry's book has not been listed on this list. So many people are wondering, has his book been delayed and will it be pushed back until next year? Now, as we have previously reported here on the channel, he is working with an award-winning ghostwriter by the name of J.R. Moehringer, but many people are speculating that perhaps the palace could be strong-arming Penguin Random House. Again, if they were to publish a book full of a lot of lies, that could be a very big problem for them. So they really have to make sure they have facts before they put out whatever Harry decides to put out in his book. Remember, the Oprah Winfrey interview had a lot of holes in it, so I don't think anyone wants to be liable by putting this in print. Quote, Harry's truth, it's Harry's story, but he can't make up lies and accusations, especially about the royal family. Now, the Platinum Jubilee just happened, so perhaps he is including some more content to be put in the book, but many people are beginning to wonder, is Harry having second thoughts? Or is Harry just having a problem coming up with actual content? Because let's be honest, it's not about the prince that he was born, but the man that he has become. And what exactly has he become except for the Hollywood husband and the used car salesman and mental health? Again, he doesn't have a lot of life lessons in his whole 2 years of being away from the royals, but again, I could be wrong. Now, a spokesperson from Trans World, who was part of the Penguin Random House company, told The Sun on Sunday, quote, "We don't put every book on the list, so there is nothing to be extrapolated from that." Meaning they could have a surprise drop maybe for the Christmas holidays. Who knows? But in my opinion, I don't think it's happening this year. Again, we haven't heard anything from Meghan's podcast since the March 24th announcement. It's been almost 4 months. Are they planning to drop it at Christmas? They said it would be this summer. So in my opinion, the Sussexes have a very good talent for signing multi-million-dollar deals. They just don't know how to complete projects. The non-producing Sussexes have yet to prove me wrong. So I don't think that podcast is happening, and I don't think the book is happening. But who knows? They could surprise all of us with these big revelations. But I don't think that's happening. No, the people in Australia, they just don't mince words with what they feel about the Sussexes. They put out an article saying Prince Harry will get dumped when he is no longer serving a purpose. And again, we've talked about him being on the Titanic, arranging the deck chairs, and Meghan has her lifeboat. We all see the iceberg happening. When all of these deals go in the crapper and the reputation tanks further and further down, their marriage is not going to see 10 years. I mean, I think they're at 4 or 5 years now. Again, another 6, 7 years. A lot of people are speculating that Harry is very unhappy with his decisions about leaving his family and going off to Hollywood to be with Meghan. And I believe that 100%. In my opinion, he does not look happy. He is not thriving. I think he's barely surviving. And you can tell at the Platinum Jubilee, he kind of had that buyer's remorse look. He was not a happy camper. He didn't like where he was sitting. He didn't like the fact he was completely separated from the top tier royals, from his family. He got no attention. They didn't come and see his daughter, which is very sad. But at the same time, you reap what you sow. You can't have discord and expect people to come sit at your feet. It doesn't work that way. I believe Harry definitely has a lot of royal regrets. He's kind of contemplating, did I make the right decisions? But again, him and his wife, they're still clawing. They're still holding on to hope that they're going to reinvent themselves in Hollywood. Again, they're still holding out for that Netflix docuseries. We still have the book that may or may not be happening, the podcast that may or may not be happening, who knows? And hey, they got this speech deal over at the UN, so I guess everything is jolly over in Monteshitshow. But again, in my opinion, I don't think this marriage is going to last. I give it another 4 or 5 years tops. Because one, Harry has got himself in a very bad situation. He doesn't have the UK, he doesn't have his family, he doesn't have a lot of friends. When you marry a narcissist, they literally make it to where it is impossible for you to leave them, but they'll leave you in a heartbeat because they always have something else in the background. So what are your thoughts, guys, on Harry speaking at the UN for Mandela Week? What do you think about the book being delayed? Do you think it's going to be a surprise publication? What do you think about Harry? Do you think he's having some royal regrets on his life choices? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Please be sure to check out all of my other social media accounts. I would greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned, guys, for the RDT Family Extras. Hello and welcome back to the RDT Family Extras. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been so sweet to Romeo, except for the one person who unsubscribed. He definitely has become a fan favorite and the star, apparently, of my channel. One lady has volunteered to be the president of the Romeo fan club, so thank you. But Romeo has become a little bit of a diva since he's made his debut here on my channel. I made a huge mistake, guys. I changed out his cat food. He normally goes between Fancy Feast and Friskies, but Fancy Feast is way more expensive, and the cans are really tiny, and he was eating like 4 cans a day, and I'm like, this is getting very expensive. So I went back to, Friskies. I thought we'll just switch it up. We'll go back to Friskies. You get bigger cans. It's a little cheaper. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that cheap stuff, Mom. I want my Fancy Feast. So now I have 36 cans of food, and Romeo's like, I'm not eating that. So we're having a little bit of a disagreement over here at the Royal Daily Tea, so we're going to have to figure it out. But I have a cat who's decided, he doesn't need this because he's got fans. So I might have to go back to Fancy Feast, guys. He's such a brat. So I did see the movie Elvis that came out last week, I believe, here in America. You guys, this was an amazing movie. I highly recommend it. I'm not a huge Elvis fan. Elvis was a little bit before my time, but I always thought he was a very, very good-looking man and a very good singer. And it's very unfortunate what happened. He passed away at 42. But I always felt he had the wrong people, like Marilyn Monroe. They just have the wrong people who fed them all of these horrible drugs, and that really screwed up his life. Well, this movie kind of focuses on him and his relationship with his manager, known as the Colonel, who is played by Tom Hanks, and he does a phenomenal job in the movie. Now, the man who plays Elvis, his name is Austin Butler. He doesn't look like Elvis, but in my opinion, he embodied the spirit of Elvis, and he's a very good-looking man, so believe me, ladies, it's not hard to look at him, but he did a phenomenal job. He had the talk, the look, just everything. But the movie was excellent. I think it's probably one of the best movies that I've seen in a very long time. It's probably going to be up for an Academy Award, in my opinion. So if you have an opportunity to go see the movie Elvis, I think you will really enjoy it. My friend and I were just like, oh my God, it was so good. Now, I do have a couple of books for you. I have one book. It's called Safe With Me. Now, this book is about a lady who witnesses a very bad car accident, and she notices that the driver of the accident was the same lady who ruined her life 13 years earlier. So she makes it her mission to befriend the victim of the accident and plots revenge against the woman who she feels ruined her life 13 years ago. That has a very big twist, and that's also a really good book. There's another book called Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubecka. And this one is about 3 separate people go missing in this small town. And 11 years later, one of the women come back. She's a child. She comes back 11 years later. And everyone is shocked. You know, what happened to you? Are you related to the other 2 women who were abducted? That also has a huge twist in the book. The other one is called Rock, Paper, Scissors, and this one is about a married couple who are celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary. Their marriage is kind of not doing very well, so the wife wins this really mysterious trip to the middle of nowhere in Scotland. So they go on this, trip, kind of a last-ditch effort to save their marriage. And while they're there, all these weird things start happening. And the husband suffers from this really weird disease. It's called a face blindness, where he can't recognize faces of people. And that plays a really big thing in this book, but that's also an extremely good book. So I think all of those books are good choices. I believe that they are linked in my Amazon storefront. If not, I'll try to have them linked below. But thank you all so much for stopping by my channel, and make sure you check out the Amazon storefront and, of course, all of my other social media accounts. Thank you, and have an awesome and amazing day. Bye, guys.